Are you not entertained? Is that why you are here?
Zip, don't get scared.
What year is it? It feels like it's been 87 years. And the last time I saw you was on a sinking ship. As I clutched this big diamond that I just let go when I was an old lady over the bow of a boat, and I could have cured world hunger with it. But either way, we're back again for a brand new live show. It's been a while. I've sort of forgot how to do this shit. It's been a little bit too long. And I've been busy. I assure you, I've been very busy. And there's a good reason I've neglected you. If only my father could give me such a reason. But I have multiple reasons. And hear me out just for 1 second. I've been working a full-time job. It's very time-consuming. It's draining my soul. My will to live is withering away day by day. I'm getting better at my job, which is, I don't know how I feel about that. But nevertheless, I've been busy. Other than that, in April, I had a birthday. I turned 37 years old. I know. The years are flying by. And then I've been doing a lot of yard work. You know, rather than meditate or go see a therapist, I get on my riding lawnmower and I cruise around in my yard and I just mow that shit. I'm essentially turning into Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino. And I do, in fact, tell people to get off my lawn. Other than that, I have a wedding coming up this fall. So life is flying by. And I figured I would stop and look around before it passed me by. And plus, I missed you beautiful bastards. So thanks for coming back. Thanks for looking at this disfigured face that will haunt small children. But nevertheless, we're here to talk about movies, and the main topic I wanted to talk about today, someone says, John, some of your hairs are gray. I'm 37 years old. I'm just glad I have hair, okay? I'm going to be salt and pepper. Hopefully one day I age into George Clooney. That's the gray hair you want as an adult male, or at least the hair I strive to have one day. Either way. But the main topic I wanted to talk about today, and I missed all of you too. I did. I really did. And that's why I'm here tonight. And if you want my honest reasoning for coming back tonight, the last couple of days, and I keep an eye on YouTube. I really do. I occasionally read my comments. I'm keeping up with everybody on YouTube that I typically always watch. And if you guys send me a message or an email, I do see it. And over the last couple of days, I went through and read some old comments. And I had a few very insightful, thought-provoking, profound comments from a few viewers. And they hit it on the nose. They completely understood what I was doing in life. And it was nice to read these things. It was insightful. And the only thing they wanted was for my lazy ass to come back and make some occasional videos. And I thought to myself, who am I to deny them that right? So it did mean a lot. And if you guys did leave a comment saying we miss you, come back, don't think that shit falls on deaf ears. I'm listening. I'm in the shadows, lurking about, watching, listening, waiting for an opportunity just to cleanse this city of the scum and the sewer. But nevertheless, I did want to talk about cinema. I love movies. And the weird thing is, the reason I've taken such a hiatus away from YouTube, not only because of all the reasons I gave you at the beginning of this live show, but there's a multitude of reasons. And seeing movies started to become an obligation. And I did not want that. Since I was a stupid little kid, and I mean a stupid little kid, who had a head that was too big for their body, I've always loved movies. I've loved cinema. If I could pick one thing to do as a kid, it would be to go to the movie theater and see the newest movie. That would be, and the next option would probably be like, if I could go to the moon, that would be cool too. But my number one pick was go to the cinema. And with YouTube, every movie I would go see, it's not that I didn't want to see the movie. It just sort of felt like an obligation because I knew halfway through that film, I'm trying to log all these bullet points in my brain. I'm trying to remember all of these characters and subplots so I can yap about it when I leave the theater or get home. And it took away that magical and mystical experience of going to the cinema. And stepping away from YouTube, it's sort of reinvigorated my love for movies. And keep in mind, I go see every new movie every week. There's a few I skip here and there, and I kind of wait for them to come out on streaming. But I have typically been keeping up with every new movie that has come out. And I do want to talk about, briefly, a handful of movies I've seen over the last 3 months that we haven't gotten a chance to talk about. And that way you guys can save your super chat money and you don't have to ask me about some of these movies because I'm just going to answer that shit right now. So keep in mind, I do see just about every new movie that comes out. If I'm not talking about it on the internet, it doesn't mean I didn't go see the movie. And the point I was making with all of that, as I ramble on, was when you work a full-time job, you sort of work to get to the weekend. And one of the motivating factors that gets me out of bed, gets my ass out of bed every day, what is this, PG? Absolutely fucking not. It's NC-17, and there will be graphic nudity later with some baby oil. Just wait. That might not be true, but it depends on the super chats tonight, how frisky I get, okay? I'll tell you that right now. Or maybe I'll save it for my OnlyFans. Don't judge me, all right? But, no, the one thing that gets me going throughout every week is when there's a good movie to go see at the theater on Thursday or Friday. Typically, I go on Fridays or Saturdays or Sundays at this point in my life because I'm getting old. And staying up late for that Thursday showing, oh man, it hurts the next day. That's sad, isn't it? I know. But just waiting to go back to the theater every week for a good movie gets me through the week. And so in a way, I sort of have learn to love movies again. That was my point. That's what I was getting to in a roundabout way. And so I think that was a good thing. I think that was a much needed thing in my life. And if anything, and it's not if, but when I come back to YouTube and I talk about movies, this was the break I needed. Okay? And it was necessary, I assure you. Because I don't want to be some guy who hates doing YouTube. I've told you this once and I'll tell you it 1,000 times. I don't make videos unless I 100% enthusiastically want to make that shit. And that's why I'm here tonight. So let's crack open a caffeinated beverage, whip out your popcorn, take off your pants. That's up to you. And let's have a good time. We'll talk about anything and everything. But first, I want to talk about a short list of movies I've seen over the last 3 months. And I will get into all these glorious super chats. And thank you so much for these. Feels good to see. I know I can't see you, but it feels good. I can feel your energy pulsating into both my nipples right now. Bzz, bzz, bzz. It feels good. The electricity is in the air. Okay, so let's start off. I don't think I've talked to you guys since maybe late March. So let's start with March. I saw what I would say might just be my most disappointing movie of the year thus far, and that's Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. They sent me this shit on 4K. I'll probably never watch it on 4K. Truth be told, I'll take this to my local media store and sell it for $3 in credit and buy a better movie. So, thank you, Sony. Also, thank you for this abomination against humanity. And whoever was responsible for creating this abomination should burn in hell for their sins for the rest of eternity. So yeah, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, huge disappointment. It just felt really lackluster. The main villain, the main foe of the movie felt like an afterthought, to say the least. He sort of felt like the secondary villain in a Disney Plus series made for 9-year-old children. And that's maybe giving it too much credit. I'm a fan of Ghostbusters. When you go back to the original, you had the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, a giant kaiju marshmallow stomping through the streets of New York City. Hell yeah! Then you go to the sequel. Say what you will about the sequel, but the Statue of Liberty comes to life with ooze, baby. Okay, and then what do we get in the not the third installment, but the latest installment of Ghostbusters? They fight some ice guy in the Ghostbusters garage for like 13 seconds. It is sort of a frozen empire for about 2 minutes. And then that shit just thaws out and the movie's over. So I thought it was terrible. The next movie I saw was The Fall Guy. And this is one of the quintessential main examples I'm going to give when I say is cinema dead. This was a huge $100 million movie, right? 2 A-list actors. And I thought it was an okay movie. Now, had this movie come out on Netflix, I think it would probably be in consideration for one of the best Netflix movies ever made. But it's not a Netflix movie. This is a studio production with a huge budget, a huge marketing campaign, and it was an okay movie. But it bombed. It bombed to epic proportions. It bombed so hard that this shit hit VOD in like 12 minutes after it came out. And that's scary, isn't it? And is it that we're getting movies from Hollywood that we just don't want to see, that aren't justified for that theater experience that cost way too much money? Or is it we as an audience are getting really picky and selective with what we go to see? Or is it that the economy sucks so much ball sack that we're all broke and we have to be picky with which movies we go to see? Or is it a culmination of all three? I would say it's a culmination of all three. Yeah. But as far as this movie goes, it should not have cost more than $35 million to make this movie. Now, take out the actors' salaries, but movies like this should cost $30 to $40 million. This is a rom-com with some action, okay? This wasn't the Avengers Part 12. Why did this cost so much money? I don't know. And then I saw Challengers with Zendaya. And the thing I want to say about Challengers was I actually liked the movie. I really did. It sort of almost at times reminded me of like, this might be a weird example, but it kind of reminded me like what David Fincher was doing with The Social Network, ever so slightly. But at the core of this, Challengers is a sports movie. And I'm not a huge fan of tennis. Now, there is a love triangle going on, but at the core of it, it is in fact a sports movie. And some of the intensity that they showed during these showdowns in these tennis tournaments, where they sort of had the camera be in the POV of the tennis ball getting knocked back and forth, and the players are sweating, and it's just, you can taste the salt coming through the screen. I liked it. I did. I don't know if I'd go back and rewatch it over and over, but I didn't mind Challengers. Now, one movie I'd probably never watch again was Civil War, and I was really looking forward to this. And the best way I can describe Civil War was it felt like a really, really good season finale of an 8-part limited series. Does anyone else see where I'm coming from with that? I didn't hate it. I just thought, oh, that's what the movie is. Okay. I was hoping for something more profound or prolific, or I just expected more from the guy who directed Ex Machina. That's all I'm saying. Then we have the movie Hitman, which came out to Netflix, and to me, this sort of felt like a movie from 2008. Very instantly forgettable. And is it me, or is Glenn Powell sort of becoming like the new Brad Pitt in a way? I like the guy, I really do. But yeah, sort of gives me Brad Pitt vibes every once in a while. Then we had Inside Out 2, which I just saw a few weeks ago, and I think I much preferred Inside Out 2 over the first Inside Out. Now, when it comes to the Pixar lineup of films, Inside Out was never in my top 10 by any means. I liked it. I think it's a great movie to see. And actually, I think, if anything, Inside Out and Inside Out 2 are two of the most educational films when it comes to children from Pixar that really showcase and break down what emotions are and sort of almost make you aware of what they are. And the standout to Inside Out 2 was the character anxiety. Because I don't know if you're like me, or as you get older, you definitely get more anxiety in life, which is really unfortunate. And that's why you always take drugs. Or at least that's why I do. And that's why I did right before this live stream. But nevertheless, hey, none of the hard stuff, okay? Just the stuff you can buy over the counter. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I quite enjoyed Inside Out too. I really enjoyed the character anxiety. One of the funniest scenes in this film was there was sort of like a cutaway scene, like in the first film where they had that entire sequence with Bebop the clown, or whatever the fuck his name was, that creepy clown who rode a unicycle into the sky. But there was a character in this film who was an imagination of the little girl, and he was like a video game character, and he had the worst attack offense ever. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. All right. I did write some of these down 5 minutes before I did this. Oh, yes. I know everyone's going to ask me, and I've already seen it a few times in the chat. I did, in fact, see Godzilla -1, and I quite enjoyed that shit. Now, I did watch it at home. I have a projector in my bedroom. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you guys, it is my safe place. When I get in bed, I put the heating pad on, I lay back, I get a Sprite Zero, and I turn that projector on. It's probably 140 inches on my wall. Oh, and I watched Godzilla -1. And I will say this, it's by far probably the best live-action Godzilla film I've ever seen. Or at least in the last 30 years or the last 40 years. So I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a very, very respectable movie. And if anything, Hollywood should take notes from films like this. I think this movie cost like $8 or $10 million. It looked like a $90 to $100 million movie. If Hollywood had to make this shit, it probably would have cost $250 million. Let's be honest. I mean, if Hitman costs $130 million, or I'm sorry, not Hitman, Fall Guy, then yeah, for sure. So I also enjoyed the character who was a kamikaze pilot who wanted to redeem himself. I thought that was brilliant. I loved how it took place in the 1940s. I thought it was a great film. I really did. So I'm glad I actually watched it at home, oddly enough. I could almost savor the flavor. And then the next movie I watched, let's get into a couple recent movies. I only have a couple more movies left, so hang on. We're gonna get to these glorious super chats because I'm reading some of this shit out of the corner of my eye, and it's looking good. I can't wait. My anticipation levels are up here. Okay, Bad Boys 4. Not to be mistaken with Bad Boys for Life, because that title would have made too much sense for the fourth installment. But nevertheless, I think Martin Lawrence is getting too old for this shit. like when he was running around saying, "I'm tired, Mike, I'm tired," I was like, he looks pretty fucking tired. We gotta stop. I enjoyed the second act of this movie, and I love me a good buddy cop movie. I really do. But this is just getting really generic to the point where it just feels like a parody of itself. This is a fine movie to watch on a rainy night at home with some stale popcorn. Why would you have stale popcorn at home? I don't know. I was just trying to set the scene for you guys. But yeah, the third act of Bad Boys 4, it just felt like I kind of forget what it was. It felt like it was generated by AI. Big shootout on some hideout in Biolabatra, Mississippi or wherever. And it was like, I just can't buy the fact that these henchmen all wear these tight spandex black shirts and just stand around at some like dilapidated hangout spot that's been closed down for 20 years. So the evil henchman can just stand there as the bad boys show up to take them all down. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I know it's a big, stupid action movie. I just thought they could have been a little more innovative with it. That's all I'm saying. All right. And the one I'm forgetting right now is Furiosa. Let me punish myself for my sins against humanity. I skipped over Furiosa. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I would say it's probably my most enjoyable theater experience of the year. But hear me out for a second. There's a lot of things I loved about it, but in some regards, it didn't quite live up to the expectations I had with Mad Max Fury Road, because that's one of my all-time favorite action movies. And the more I watched that movie after initially seeing it in the theater, the more I grew to love it. So when it comes to Furiosa, I don't really have any major complaints. I liked Anya Taylor-Joy. I actually think the younger version of the character in the movie in the first act or two was more interesting than when we got to older Anya Taylor-Joy as Furiosa. I thought maybe her character being like 15 rather than in her 20s or whatever it was would have been more interesting. Because in the second act, you kind of get her as a younger teenager. And I was like, maybe this is where the movie should kick off from, in my opinion. I just think that would be, I think there would be more you could do with it. And she just looked more like the character. And when you get to Anya Taylor-Joy, she just looks so frail. It's like, I feel like she's going to get broken or something. But anyway, my only nitpick with the film really was some of the production of it. Whenever there was a live action sequence, you could tell they shot in the desert with a big monster truck and they had a one take shot of it. I was like, yeah, give me more of it. But a majority of this film just felt like people were standing in front of green screens. Like, you could almost feel the artificial hair light shining down on them. They looked a little bit too washed out. And when it comes to Fury Road, it felt a little more practical in a sense. And this one felt like, maybe due to limitations or budgets or what have you, it just felt like they shot more of this in a studio. And speaking of Furiosa, as much as I enjoyed the film, no one went to see this shit. This movie bombed hard. And it's already on VOD, which a movie of this caliber would have taken a few months to hit VOD, even in this landscape. But this went to VOD in like 2 weeks after it came out. And I'm like, what? I was cruising Amazon Prime one day and saw it on there. And I just thought, wow, like, movies have no shelf life anymore. And going back to what to blame for this, the economy, or is it just movies, or are we getting more picky as consumers? Or is it that society just has a really severe case of ADD? And if so, I blame TikTok. So does the government, and that's why they want to ban it. But yeah, maybe everyone who loved Fury Road has grown too old because they took way too damn long with coming out with the sequel, which I will say they took entirely too long. This movie should have come out 5 years ago, okay? Yeah, this movie bombed hard, and I feel like if people had seen this in the theater, I think a majority of people would have a good time. This is kind of like the action R-rated movie you want to go see. This is a reason to leave your house. And the fact no one saw this because it's not based on some comic book or what have you, this might be one of those nails in the coffin of Hollywood where they come out with off-the-cuff IP movies that cost a lot of money to make. And I know Mad Max has an IP. It's got a built-in fan base. But even this couldn't make any money, it's kind of terrifying to me. And I just feel like audiences will not leave their house unless it's part 7 of an established blockbuster movie that has recently come out over the past 2 years. So those are my thoughts. Those are some recent movies I've seen over the last 3 months. Share your thoughts right now in the chat. Let me know why you think cinema's dying. I gave you a few reasons why I think it's happening. And plus, if you know for a fact a movie's going to hit VOD 7 seconds after it comes out to the theater, then why would you take your ass to the theater and buy a $14 popcorn and 2 large gallon sodas that cost, I don't know, a mortgage payment and your left testicle? Why would you leave your house when you know that shit's going to be on VOD in a week? So I don't know if they're setting theaters up to fail, or if this is a studio conspiracy, or this is just a weird time in cinema. I can't place it, but I get this feeling deep down inside that we have a few choices going forward. One, is this the death of big blockbusters and maybe the Renaissance era of original $20 to $30 million movies that might be intriguing and thought-provoking and, in fact, can turn a profit because they simply don't cost that much? Or are we going to get to a point where Hollywood goes, you know what, it doesn't really matter what movie we make. We'll just slap it on streaming and give people a few hours of content so they don't have to look at their TikTok, and then they can look up at the screen and then go back to TikTok, and we'll start getting more movies that are mindless and forgettable, sort of like movies like Hitman with Glenn Powell. It's not a big piece of shit or anything. It's just like an instantly forgettable movie you'd never watch, but it serves its purpose. Will that be the new standard? I don't know. It's a crazy time to be alive if you love movies, and it's also a scary time to be alive, but I hold on hope. I really do. So with all that said, let's dive into the questions. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I rambled on way too long, but I wanted to share my thoughts and my feelings with all of you, because to be honest with you, I can't afford therapy, and I use you guys as such. So thank you. And tell me everything that's wrong with me. I know I'm a sociopath. You don't tell me that. But anyway, here we go. I had some early questions that let's see. Here we go. This was from 2 hours ago. Skylar Wheelock says, John, it's like you went out to get milk months ago, and now you're finally back. You better have picked up the most delicious chocolate milk ever for us. Laugh aloud. What's something movies get wrong that drives you crazy but other people don't care about at all? Well, one trope that really bothers me is it's like people forget that they have phones in modern day movies. So they always drive across town to say 2 sentences to one another, and then the one guy nods, and then they walk away. You're telling me you put pants on to leave the house to do that? A simple text message would have sufficed. Also, I hate how people don't say bye in movies. I get it. I get if there's some animosity between the two characters, but when it's like a friendly chat over the phone, like you're calling your mom and then they go, okay, I'll see you next Tuesday. And they go click. You don't hang up on your fucking mom like that. What are you doing? You say bye. I love you. Okay, bye-bye. And then you hang up, you know? Those are a few things that drive me a bit crazy. 50% Doctor Who podcast says, great to see you back, John, but take all the time you need if needed. As a YouTuber myself, I can say YouTube burnout is real. It is indeed real, but the truth is, when I do something, I'm all or nothing. And with my full-time job, by the end of the day, I just don't have the energy, the wittiness, the creative edge to give back to you guys. I really don't. When I get home from work, I just want to be sedated and do something relaxing. The thought of trying to turn on that switch, it takes a lot out of me. So, but rest assured, the dawn is coming. Okay, all right. Akai Nai, how's it going, buddy? Hey, John, sorry I won't be there for the live stream. I'll rewatch later. Well, thank you for that. Good to see you back, and here's a little something. Well, thanks for that, man. Thanks, Akai. Carter Lovejoy says, guess who's back? Back again. Flick Picks back. Tell a friend. Well, thank you for that. Mom Spaghetti, I'm ready. All right. Cody Gill says, oh my God, I thought you died. I love when you just don't make YouTube videos for 3 months, you instantly die. You just die. You just start you start fading away like the family in the Back to the Future photo. Great Scots! And my fucking arms just disappearing, and you can see my name appear on a tombstone. Anyway, I'm not dead. Not yet, anyway. Okay. But anyway, what is the best tasting color and why is it blue? Oh, when you're thirsty, you have to drink blue. Whatever it is, you drink blue. It's colder and it's more hydrating. That's a fact. Scientifically proven by every 7-year-old kid that's ever lived and who has ever eaten a blue popsicle in the summertime. You know that cools you down much more than purple, or I called it purple. It's grape, but I still call it purple. What's wrong with me? Anyway, let's go to the next question. The Movie Raider says, John, are you excited for Kevin Costner's Horizon films? What are your thoughts on the 3rd and 4th films already being in production? Horizon films? What are the Kevin Costner Horizon films? I love me some Kevin Costner, but I'm not familiar with this. I'm sorry. But I will go watch Dances with Wolves again. Or I could watch Avatar, which is the same thing. Okay. Movie Mad says, glad it's been more fun than an obligation. Well, and Movie Mad, thank you for being a member for 56 glorious months. Samuel Dixon says, Johnny... He didn't say it like that. He didn't say it like Tommy Wiseau. John, what do you mean girls like to cheat like guys do? Johnny, was legit worried about you. I run to YouTube really for you, not so much anyone else. So very glad to see you back. Well, good to be back. I missed you guys. I really did. I hit this weird little heart palpitation over the last couple of days, and I really was questioning my own mortality, my own existence. What is the meaning of life? Do we live in the Matrix? I don't know. Wake me up from this bucket of goo, unhatch my umbilical cord, and let me grow and see the sun, and here we are again. And so, yeah, whatever the fuck I just said, it's good to be back. Okay. Plus, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you guys. You want some real talk right now? You want some real talk? I've been looking at the landscape of YouTube. I've looked at all the people I've come up with on YouTube over the recent months, and it looks like they're slowly dying inside. The passion and the flames aren't there. If you look close into their eyes, it's not there. That flame is extinguished. And I felt like you, as viewers, as an audience of movie enthusiasts, I felt like you needed something different. And I felt like I could bring back that energy this community so rightfully deserves, damn it, okay? Someone who can be honest with you, who can be blunt, who's not afraid to take the punches, because I don't have anything to lose anymore. I don't care. Do you hear that? I'm not afraid anymore. Except of an old mean man with a bucket full of salt and a shovel. But anyway. The salt turns the bodies into mummies. Let's go to the next question. Hello, Real John. I'll keep it real with you. You know I'm not going to lie to placate you guys. I will never placate you again, ever. That was one mandate I gave myself. If I'm coming back, I'm going to be real, I'm going to be visceral, and I'm going to be unadulterated, damn it. So anyway, let's go to the next question. All right. I forgot how to read. Where am I? Okay, here we go. My sweetie pie. Well, thank you for the very generous super chat. Too kind. You guys are too nice to me. Why are you so good to me? Mr. Gump? Is that Mr. Gump? Okay, I have been waiting for this moment for a while now. Why did it have to happen on my day off? Side note, I've been a few whiskeys in for hours, was going to go to bed, but preheating the oven for a frozen pizza instead. Damn it, that sounds glorious. I'll tell you what, there's nothing better in life than a Jack and a Coke and a frozen pizza. And I'll tell you the best 30 minutes of your life? It's the simple things in life that matter. Remember that. Remember that. If you've learned nothing else from me or this channel, remember this. Whenever you put a frozen pizza in the oven, and you know you have 20 minutes before it's ready, and you're just casually waiting, as the house warms up, you can see the glow of the oven, you can smell those crisp pepperonis in the air, and you're casually searching for something to watch. That way, when your pizza's ready, you can immerse yourself with some cardboard-like pizza, yet delicious, and watch some shitty movie on Netflix. But it's those 20 minutes where you're completely free. Try it sometime. Let's go to the next question. But thank you. Thank you for that. Daniel Martin says, welcome back, Johnny. Have you seen Godzilla -1? If so, what are your thoughts? We did talk about that for a few minutes. Quite enjoyed it. I really did. I loved the final showdown. I loved the kamikaze pilot character. It felt like a real Godzilla movie. And I think that's what people want more of. We want thought-provoking movies. And when you compare the new Godzilla -1 to the new Kong versus Godzilla, whatever the fuck that piece of junk is called, that looks like it was shit out of Hollywood's asshole. Godzilla -1 is film. Okay, that new thing that they shit out to sell cheap little Chinese toys at Walmart, I don't know what that is. I haven't watched it. I believe you can watch it right now on HBO Max. I probably never will. And if I do, I will be heavily medicated on drugs. It'll be 2 o'clock in the morning. I will have insomnia and I won't be able to sleep. That's when I will watch whatever that new Godzilla Kong movie's called. It just looks like, I don't know. It just looks like it was from the imagination of a child playing with his toys or something. It just does, like, I've heard no discussion about that film. I haven't heard anyone say they hated it, and I haven't heard anyone say they liked it. I've just heard nothing about that film, which tells you how it's resonated with audiences. It hasn't. Okay, let's go to the next question. Michael Witherspoon, who has been a member for 30 months. Damn it, Michael. Thank you. I have a one night left in Vegas. What should I do? You have one night left in Vegas? Oh, man. Are you with your family or not? This might change my answer. No, I don't know, man. Go over to the roulette table. Take all your money that you have. Bet it on black. If you win, I get 10%. If you lose, I'm sorry. No, go see a show, man. Go buy some tickets to a show. Go watch a magic show. Nothing's more enjoyable to me than a magic show. I just immerse and let go. Like, I saw Penn and Teller in Vegas a handful of years ago. That was good shit. I went to Cirque du Soleil. That was a good show. Go check out the new Spear. I don't know. Walk up and down the street on the Strip. All right. The next one comes from... Where am I here? Oh, and Daniel's follow-up question was, why do you think Hollywood cannot follow the blueprint of compelling characters like you care for over VFX? Yeah, that's the other thing about compelling characters, and that was one movie I forgot to mention on my list. I'm sorry, I took like 3 notes, and I was like, I'll remember all of this, but I did not. I don't script this shit, okay? A Quiet Place, Day One. I did see that film. Actually, we just saw that yesterday, or the day before, and I liked it. I think it was enjoyable. I had a good time at the theater watching it, but I would say... it's definitely the weakest installment of the Quiet Place films. And it definitely felt like a one watch to me. Like, I have no urge to ever go back and revisit that. And you also had Eddie Munson in the movie. And I forget his name, the actor's name. But his character in A Quiet Place and his character in Stranger Things sort of had... the same character arc in a way. Like, they're both afraid and they need to overcome fear in the storyline. I thought that, so I don't know if he's being typecasted as that type of character, but I thought it was a great looking movie. I thought there were some thrilling moments, some very questionable decisions made by the characters that felt like the only reason that they were made was so the movie could have like 5 minutes of extra suspense. It almost felt like a few scenes were like reshot to add more suspense to the movie, especially one where we'll just call him Eddie Munson. He climbs over this like structure to grab a cat. Like, he risks his life, and there's like 1,000 of the monsters standing around, and he does all this to save a cat that ran away. And it just, I don't know. I just couldn't trust his judgment any further after that moment. But I did enjoy the movie. But my one thing about the Quiet Place movies are, if we get more of these, the mystery and the mystique of the monsters themselves, I feel like I've seen so much of them by this 3rd installment, where I see them crash land into Earth. I understand how they function. They're just not as, I think if you put them in another installment, you're going to have to do something radically different, because I've seen too much of them. They're not terrifying anymore. Like in the first film, less was always more, and they had more of a mystique surrounding them that made them terrifying. It's like you watch a movie like Jaws. If the movie just opened up with a wide shot of Jaws and you could see him swimming around for 10 minutes, you'd be like, okay, it's a shark. But it's those little snippets that you get with the fin out of water that's truly terrifying. And I felt like maybe they should have kept that same tone in A Quiet Place Day One, just to keep the suspense a little higher. Or so I don't know. The other thing I did want to say about A Quiet Place was I had one more thing I wanted to say. The thought might be escaping me at the moment. Oh, my big complaint was I didn't understand. No spoilers, not spoiling anything. But since it is day one, obviously this is the first day this shit goes down, I didn't comprehend how everyone in the movie knew to be quiet so quickly to avoid being ripped apart. I felt like they came to that conclusion too quickly. I feel like it should have taken 20 or 30 more minutes to get to that point. I don't know. So anyway, people aren't that smart. They would not have figured it out that quickly. Okay. The next one comes from Skylar Wheelock. Ghostbusters is the Jurassic Park of comedy, a perfect one-and-done movie that the studio keeps trying and failing to recapture for decades. You know, in a way, I will completely agree with you. It's just the studios producing these films come across like they're slightly tone deaf. Like, it feels like you have gold at your fingertips. You have characters, lore, money, a budget, all the talent you could ask for. And somehow, some way, these Hollywood executives get their money-grubbing, greasy fucking fingers all over it, and they just make a mess, and they do the worst things with all of this potential. It's like you could have the best action climax sequence of all time, and then they don't. You know, they do the opposite. It's opposite day in Hollywood. But I do agree with your point. James Dozier says, "Hey John, glad you're back." Well, good to be back, James. The hunt for Gollum. Ooh, my preciousness. Bro, you're back, bro. Broski, brah, I am back. Now, will I be able to do this every day? No. But I would like to do it occasionally. And then eventually, once I get warmed up and the juices start flowing and I'm all greased up and I'm limber and I've stretched, maybe I'll come back a bit more. Because I have thoughts, I have feelings about movies. I'd like to share them with you guys. I just hope that you watch them. That's all I ask. And thanks to all 295 of you watching right now. Thank you for hanging out with me on a Friday night. Oh, you don't have friends either? Oh, cool. We're in this together. Go grab some popcorn and something delicious to drink. All right, the next one comes from Dustin Rich. I'm glad you're alive. I thought you were hospitalized after getting gangbanged by a pack of ladders. Oh, so that's partially true. I know it sounds crazy, but I almost did die last year by getting hit in the face with a ladder. It was pretty bloody. It was bad. I could have lost my eye. It's kind of scary. It made me question a lot of things in life. Anyway, let's go to the next question. Greg Harris says, do you play WWE 2K24 game? A lot of fun. You know, the truth be told, I love me some pro wrestling. I was actually just watching SmackDown right before I ran in here to sit down and talk to you guys. But I have not really played a wrestling video game since Here Comes the Pain on PS2. Now, I used to play the shit out of No Mercy, WrestleMania. I loved me some wrestling video games, but the older I got, the less I enjoyed the gameplay of like playing a wrestling video game. I like watching it, but you know, for me, the only thing I really used to play when it comes to video games was Rocket League, and I got way too competitive. I was breaking way too many controllers. It was actually stressing me out. So one day, I just couldn't take it anymore. I was like, why am I getting this mad? Some 12-year-old kid is kicking my ass at a video game, and I violently, I had the thought of, I wish I could teleport into his room behind him and grab him by the ears and just squeeze his head until it went. like I wish that was empty so I could have crunched it. But anyway, when you have fantasies like that, you know it's time to uninstall the game, and I did promptly. Okay, I don't need therapy. No, I do not. Okay, the next one comes from Cool Keyboard Commando, who says, John, it's hard watching a movie without substance abuse like caffeine. Yes. I was gonna say I thought you were gonna say it's hard watching a movie without substance, because that right there defines 90% of the cinema that we get today. Claudia Rogajon says, you think Westerns will make a comeback someday? I don't know. You know, we live in a weird time that I don't think so. I don't think it's time for Westerns to make a return. Now, that doesn't mean I wouldn't like to see that. I love films that take place in another time period with beautiful landscapes and scenery. I love things like that. So do I think Westerns? I don't know. If they can make a really low budget one, maybe. But I just don't think anyone's clamoring for a new Western movie these days. Unless you made something like Django Unchained, you know. But I love me a good Western. I really do. They comfort you. You know, just that desert with the desert sun in the backdrop, and just men being men, all grizzled and riding horses, and just in a way, I'm kind of describing Brokeback Mountain, aren't I? Either way. Dustin Rich says, can you tell us your thoughts on X-Men 97 and why Cyborg is your new favorite character? Oh, Cyclops. Sorry. Cyclops. So I did watch 3 or 4 episodes of X-Men 97. I was watching it with a friend of mine, and we haven't finished it yet. I thought a few of the episodes were really lackluster. I thought you did get the vibes from the original, from the 90s. A few of the same plots were used that they used in the 90s, like especially with the guy who does the video game hack thing. But yeah, I'm hoping it gets better the second half. The first half I thought was okay. Night King 01, how's it going, man? Long time, no talk, but I'm glad you're back. Here we go. John, I missed your presence. I missed yours too. Really enjoyed Furiosa. It felt like a real movie, not regurgitated baby food. Shame people didn't see it though. Mad Max films have never really been moneymakers. Yeah, in a sense that's true, but gosh, for the cult following that's grown around Fury Road, I just figured this movie, this is what at least most dudes or people who went in an action movie would go see. And I really expected it to do much better. I mean, they marketed the shit out of the movie, so I can't blame them there. They tried. But yeah, maybe it was just too weird and kooky. Maybe Chris Hemsworth's prosthetic nose threw people off. I couldn't tell you. Okay, the next one comes from, and by the way, I'm about 30 minutes behind on the super chats, and it's getting hot in here. I can feel the heat. I feel like I'm glistening like a disco ball, a greasy disco ball. All right. Edward Nito says, hey, John, good to hear you were able to take a break and focus on you. Well, that's one way of putting it, and yeah, it felt good. It felt good. It really did. I needed it. But you know what else I needed? I needed you. Do you want to know what my happy thought was? It was you. Okay. Let's put this back where it belongs. Sprinkle some fairy dust in all of you. And get back to the questions. We all knew you were watching from the shadows. Here's to more live streams in the future. You are the hero YouTube deserves. Cheers. Well, thanks, Edward. Thank you for the super chat, man. Thank you for that. And it's nice to, it's cool to have feedback from you guys. It really is, especially like that. That's positive, constructive reinforcement, and that felt good. I liked it. I don't know if I deserve it, though, but I liked it. Murph says, if you were invited to one of Richard's famous dinner parties from Dream Scenario, what is your game plan to impress and secure a return invite? Oh god, Dream Scenario. Damn it. That was like the art house version of Freddy Krueger with Nicolas Cage playing Freddy Krueger. I feel like that's how that movie was pitched. I quite enjoyed it. I don't think I'd ever watch it again, but I did enjoy Dream Scenario. I had a question earlier that I screenshotted. Here it is. From Batjax, who says, "Hey, John, is the reason you keep disappearing because you are a secret serial killer who leaves Blu-rays behind as a calling card? You don't need to hide it from us, John. We understand and love you." If only life was so simple. But no, I have not murdered anyone on purpose recently. But thank you for the question. Pop Culture Odyssey says, "How's the job going?" My job, it has ebbs and flows. It's getting very busy, which is very stressful and just suckles away at my will to live. I have officially been there for 1 year, and so I'm sort of at a crossroads right now. What do I want to do? I've done it for a year. Do I like it? Do I hate it? Do I want to go somewhere else? Do I want to make a triumphant return back to YouTube? I don't know. I'm not sure. A lot of questions I have to ask myself. But I'm hoping you guys give me the answers. Okay. Bastiel says, "Welcome back, John. My last 3 4K films that I purchased are Point Break, Almost Famous, and Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Greetings from Southern Germany." Well, what a lineup, you sociopath, you know. Those are all great titles. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, definitely an interesting film. I have seen it once. But yeah, I still have not watched my Point Break on 4K. I know. I'm disgusted with myself. I don't deserve the breath I breathe, or the air I breathe, or either one. I'm sorry, Patrick Swayze. Please forgive me. Master Bodhi. All right. Back off, War Child. Seriously. Member for 47 months, Rocky90 says, "Sup, John? What do you think of the new Superman pics?" I'm glad someone asked me about the new Superman pictures, because there's a lot of controversy on the internet right now. And anytime you put out some fucking comic book paparazzi photos shot on the set, there's always controversy on the internet. Nothing's new. Rinse, cycle, repeat. You know, I've been covering this shit for 20 years. And let's talk about the Superman pictures. Now, the biggest complaints we have, the suit looks saggy. It looks like he's wearing bed sheets. He looks like he's playing cosplay. It looks like he hasn't worked out. It looks like a 12-year-old boy wearing the Superman suit. And you know what? Those are all fair assessments. They really are. Because if you look at the picture, that suit looks like it's made for a guy who's probably 47 pounds heavier and way more muscular. But, let's all chill out for a second, okay? This is James Gunn's directing this film, all right? It's a Superman movie. I have faith in both. But maybe, just maybe, this is a preliminary suit. Maybe this is his first suit. This is the prototype suit. Maybe it gets better. I don't know. Maybe he starts going to Planet Fitness and working out and drinking protein supplements, and he gets buff enough to fit the suit. I don't know. Or maybe there's going to be a lot of CGI manipulation that tighten up that suit in post-production and make that thing look skin tight and make him look muscular. Maybe that's a factor in all this. Or maybe they're just going for a slightly looser fitting suit so you don't see his dick and balls through his red underwear. I don't know. All three of these things could be a factor. But I will say, looking at him in that Superman suit and going back and looking at Henry Cavill in the Superman suit in Man of Steel, holy shit. That is a man. That is a man. You didn't know what you had until it was gone. If only people had given Man of Steel the respect it rightfully deserved, maybe we'd still be getting that. That's all I'm saying. Henry Cavill was the perfect embodiment of a live-action Superman. I'm sorry. The new guy might do a great job, but damn it, Henry Cavill, he looked like he could kill a motherfucker wearing a blue spandex rubber suit, and you would take him seriously for doing so. And not only that, he did. He broke Zod's damn neck. And it was glorious and beautiful, and I loved it. Anyway, what was the question? Oh yes, Superman's loose, ill-fitting suit. I think it'll be fine. You know, I do like that they're going a little more fantastical with it. I like that the suit looks more blue. You know, I'm looking forward to the movie. I really am. But are those the best photos to see of Superman with sort of a loose suit? I don't know. I got to see it in live action to really make a fair judgment. But isn't that what everyone says who probably did a first look video on the suit on YouTube? I'm sure they wrapped it up with, yeah, but maybe in live action it'll look okay. We'll just have to wait and see. You know, that's how everyone ends those videos. Bruce Cook says, oh my God, John Flickinger is still alive and on YouTube. Hell yes, Bruce Cook. He's here in the flesh, baby. The Flick Pick lives. Let me put on my Nicolas Cage glasses because I'm feeling a little wired. What did you get you off or something? Okay, the next question comes from, oh gosh, Blunt's #1 fan who says, you picked a hell of a time to go on vacation, Mr. Wayne. Yes, I did. You know, the truth be told, another reason that this all coordinated perfectly and lined up with my life was I felt like cinema was at a low point, and if anything, I took the perfect year off away from movies, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. It's subjective, I know. But really, if you could skip 1 year not to talk about movies, I think maybe 2024 was a fair year to do so. That's all I'm saying. Okay, the next one comes from... It's coming from somebody. Oh, here it is. Okay. Daniel Martin says, what lessons, if any, can studios take from Furiosa's disappointing box office? Audiences don't care for prequels. Rip OG and Morton Joe. Excuse me. That is a good point. Do audiences care about prequels? Why do we keep getting prequels to movies? We know where it's going. We know what happens. Just make a fucking sequel. Make a spin-off. Make it take place somewhere else in the universe. Just keep progressing the story in a linear fashion, please. Don't take 10 steps back when you just took a leap forward. And that's a fair point. As much as I liked Furiosa, and I did enjoy it, was it needed? Was it necessary? Could you not have just made a sequel in that same universe? Maybe. I don't know. I would have preferred to see a sequel. I mean, it just would have been more fascinating, because you know what's going to happen. You know where it's going. And I just think sometimes some things don't necessitate a prequel over a sequel. If I can have both, if they would have shot, for example, if they would have shot Furiosa back to back with another Mad Max movie, that way you knew the next installment was coming out in 2 years. So you could have had the prequel, and then in part 2, it jumps ahead to a new story after the events of Fury Road. Okay, I had part 1 and a part 2 that interconnect somehow, some way, that kind of skip over Fury Road in the middle. That could be intriguing, but you know what? I'm just rambling on at this point. I digress. Let's get back to the topics. Brevins Flicks and Games says, hey, John. God, I missed you, bro. I missed you, too. Okay, anyway. I feel bad for Furiosa bombing, but Twisters and Deadpool and Wolverine, let's hope not. Movies might die, but not this guy. That's a good saying. I'm going to use that. Listen, if cinema dies, I'm going to hold it inside, right here, this special place that they can't get to and they can't take it away. It's called a man's soul, damn it. As long as my ticker's pumping, you can't take cinema away. Not for me. All right. That's my cringe shit for the night. Enjoy that. Okay. So Twisters, I'm looking forward to. I'm at a point in life where if there's any fun, bombastic blockbuster movie coming out that looks halfway decent, I'm on board to go see that shit. Because if for anything else, going back to the point I was making earlier, and if you guys and hear me out for a second, right? And if you guys agree with what I'm about to say, please let me know. Give this shit a thumbs up and let society know how we all feel. Do you guys work a full-time job? A job that some days you just can't get out of bed. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to do it, but you're just doing it to get by in life. But the one thing that you have is you love movies. And why do you love movies? Why do you love cinema? Because it's pure escapism. For a couple of hours, you can forget all of the bullshit surrounding you. You can forget your douchebag boss. You can forget all the monotonous, meaningless tasks that don't really matter. You can forget all that. You can put it away. You can flush it down the toilet. Put it in your basement. Tuck it down in the well. It puts the lotion in the basket, damn it. But when you do all of that, you can escape. You can go to the cinema and you escape into that film. For 2 hours, you're somewhere else. And movies, that's one reason I've reinvigorated my love for cinema. I look forward to those escapes every weekend. I really do. Even if it's a mediocre movie, even if it's something like Bad Boys Part 7, I'm like, you know what? I still want to go see it. So if you're the same, let me know. But as far as Twisters goes, I'm looking forward to it. I think it actually will be a good movie. I think it has a great director. Director of, what is it? What is that movie they made about the family that lives in the trailer? Anyway. So I'm looking forward to Twisters. Glenn Powell is going to be in every single movie for the next 5 years. If you need a handsome guy who's kind of cocky but good at everything, you get Glenn Powell, right? And then you have Deadpool and Wolverine. Looking forward to that. The more I see from that movie, the more I'm liking it. And my biggest fear was that Disney was going to try to Disneyfy the film and make it like regurgitated baby food. But it looks like it's going to earn that rating. Some of the language used in the trailers, I'm looking forward to. I love that Hugh Jackman's finally in the Wolverine get up. Thank you, please. So I think it looks like a good buddy team up movie. To me, it looks like the best Deadpool movie to date, to be honest. Like, I don't love the Deadpool movies. I like them, but I don't love them. But this one looks like a movie that, or at least a Deadpool movie I want to rewatch a few times. So I have some hope. But let's keep in mind, those are both big IP movies, and they'll probably be just fine at the box office. Oh yeah, I know Deadpool is going to be rated R. That gives me faith in some regards to like Disney owning the X-Men franchise or the IP, but who knows? Who knows? And for the love of God, don't ask me anything about Disney Plus series or shows or the new Disney Plus Star Wars shows. I couldn't tell you what's happening. I couldn't even tell you the title or I just don't care anymore. It's dead. It's gone. It's buried. It doesn't exist. I've deleted all that information from my brain. I don't have it. Okay? I don't have it. So I will probably never watch another Disney Plus Star Wars show other than Mandalorian. And outside of that, I can't think of anything else I'd ever watch. Everything Marvel, everything Disney on Disney Plus or Star Wars, it's like progressively getting worse. It's like, what are you doing? Okay. Claudia Rogajon says, was Bad Boys 4 better than Bad Boys 2, though? I would say, yeah, I think it was better than Bad Boys 2 because it was nice to see these characters again in some sequences and moments, and I liked that it focused on them getting older. I think that's an interesting take on the characters, which is true. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, I mean, they're both in their 50s somewhere. Is Martin Lawrence almost 60 years old? I'm not quite sure, but he looks it. And I thought that comedy was what worked best in the Bad Boys movie. But everything else just didn't work. Like, the actual story of what they're doing is just meaningless. It doesn't matter. It's stupid, to say the least, or say the most. But the buddy team up vibe, the comedy that goes back and forth with the banter, where Mike, is it, which one's Martin Lawrence? Mike's Will Smith, or is he Mike Larry? Anyway, he just wants a pack of Skittles. That's it. His character arc is wanting a pack of Skittles and not dying of a heart attack. And that was all I needed. The bad guys in the movie, I didn't even need them. I didn't even care. Whatever. But other than that, I would never watch the movie again. Okay. Mustafa Eigen, I think I said that completely wrong, but let's pretend like I didn't. My man, I miss seeing your face, pal. Much love from Australia. Thoughts on House of the Dragon Season 2, favorite character, team, predictions, etc. Also, us teachers, also U.S. teachers, good question? I'm going to try to decipher the last part of that question. I don't know what that meant. Are U.S. teachers good? I don't know. My fiance is a teacher, she's a kindergarten teacher. But are teachers good in the U.S.? I don't know. It depends on which one you get. But as far as House of the Dragon Season 2 goes, I like it. It's the second episode was a little slow. There's things I like about House of the Dragon compared to Game of Thrones, and there's things that I'm sort of missing that Game of Thrones gave us. For example, I just feel like there's not really many characters to latch on to in House of the Dragon. Like, and that's a take and give, and I'll explain why. There's no Peter Dinklage type character. There's no the Mountain type character. Just these characters that are likable, but a little bit flawed, but have some levity to them. And that's the one thing about House of the Dragon is this show is very serious. It's probably tonally more faithful to the novels, I would assume. And there's less levity. But I'm just failing to latch onto the characters. Not to say I don't find the characters in the show interesting. And I think they're all very dynamic. And I think my favorite thing about House of the Dragon is everyone sort of lives in the gray zone. No one's just absolute. He's just a bad guy for the sake of being a bad guy. Like Matt Smith's character. Like I assumed just going into that show in the last season, he was going to betray people. He was going to be pure evil, but he's actually like a loyal character who does some shady shit, but for the right reasons every once in a while. But that's what I like about the show. Everyone's sort of in the gray area. You can almost understand where they're coming from time to time. Even if they do something unspeakable, you can kind of understand the logic of why they did it. So you don't absolutely just hate anyone. I mean, there's a few characters that you might hate, but I do like it. It's a good show to sit down and watch on Sunday nights. It feels like a real series. I think it's well crafted, well acted, well directed. I like the look of it. It looks like they actually spent money on it. But I just don't feel like it's going to have that same rewatchability, or I don't think I'm ever going to get the same attachment to it that I had to Game of Thrones. And I know that's a big comparison, but I do like it. You know, if Game of Thrones is an A+ minus the last few seasons, I know, but they did have like 5-6 glorious seasons of Game of Thrones. And if I were to give those like an A+, I would give House of the Dragon like a B, you know? So, but we're only on the second season, so I'm sure all the good stuff is yet to come. All right, Brett Cook says, will we ever see a Shawshank Redemption Forrest Gump caliber movie again? Or are those days completely behind us? That is a great and glorious question because let me take a drink of this. Every time I'm in the mood to watch a real movie, my mind always goes to a handful of films. And two of those movies are, in fact, Forrest Gump and The Shawshank Redemption, because they're such immersive experiences that encompass everything that you want in a real film. I'm not talking about a Michael Bay Transformers movie or some shit like that that looks like tinfoil in a gangbang orgy. I'm talking about real cinema, right? A real story with characters, and you feel something along the way. And you're absolutely right. Those types of films that have that kind of caliber, that span that kind of time, they are few and far between, are they not? You're absolutely right. You know, another movie I think of is like Gladiator. You know, that's a real cinematic experience that I feel like I'm getting so much entertainment and quality in like 2.5 hours that it feels like I just got the experience of 10 movies in one. That's how I feel about Forrest Gump or Gladiator or what was the other one? Oh, Shawshank Redemption. So yeah, I'm trying to think of the last time we got something even comparable to Shawshank Redemption or Forrest Gump. Does anyone have one? Can you please share it down below? I would like to know. Someone said Robert Zemeckis only directs shit anymore. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. He does have a new movie coming out with Tom Hanks where it's sort of the viewpoint of the walls of a house where you see this family growing and throughout the decades. It almost sounds like it could be a horror film if you really wanted it to be. But anyway, actually, you know, that would make a better horror film, wouldn't it? Huh. Anyway, so yeah, and someone mentioned The Leftovers. The Leftovers is good, but I wouldn't put it on the caliber of Shawshank Redemption, man. I am looking forward to the Gladiator sequel. I am looking forward to it. Maximus, gonna go home and bang little Miss Thing. That shit, Jake. Tell him, Jake. That's my shitty Denzel impression. It'll get better. No, it won't. Okay. V Chet says, missed you. Furiosa was the best post-COVID movie. V Chet, I don't know if Furiosa was the best movie I've seen since COVID, but it was definitely one of the better experiences I've had at the theater that gave me what I wanted. It really did live up to what I wanted it to be. It's definitely a big action movie I'd watch again on 4K. And, you know, that's very few and far between these days, like rewatchability. Like, there's a lot of movies that come out, and I think, okay, that was fine. I didn't hate watching that, but I would never watch it again. Like A Quiet Place Day One, it was fine, but I don't think I would watch it again. I really don't. If I was in the mood to watch any Quiet Place movie, I'd probably just watch the first one. So, yeah, I think rewatchability is slowly fading away, and it's almost like studios just want to make movies that you watch one time and they crap it out on VOD for everyone who didn't want to go to the theater, and then it dies. And then it goes on Netflix and people watch it again in 10 years. I don't know. And they're sort of shooting themselves in the foot because, you know, thinking about it, I'm a guy who loves physical media. Now, the question being, why oh why would someone buy a physical copy of a film on 4K or Blu-ray? To watch it over and over again. Poof! So when you start making movies that have no rewatchability, it's no wonder that physical media is slowly dying because there's no fucking reason to rewatch the movies ever again. Now call me crazy, this could just be a theory, or maybe I'm speaking too much truth and logic, but if you just made really good movies, quality movies, that people wanted to revisit, they were classics, they were timeless, and you put them on 4K, I think people would still buy them. They want that experience. Even in this digital age, I think that would still reinvigorate physical media ever so slightly. You just got to get people a reason to buy the shit. If you have no reason, then of course it's going to slowly die out. Anyway, I digress. You got me talking about Blu-rays and got me all moist. Hey, get your minds out of the gutter. I'm talking about my armpits. It's getting hot in here. Zach Kill says, hey, John. I saw you and your fiance at the Coldwater Theater watching Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I wanted to say hello, but I got too nervous. Also didn't want to interrupt your date night. Those two guys beside you sucked. Zach Keel, are you... Okay, Zach, I wish you would have said something to me, and I wish you would have came over and said, John, do you hate those two fucking guys in the theater as much as I do? And I would have said, yes, Zach, I do hate those two fucking guys as much as you do. Let me tell you about, and I did see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Oh my God, I forgot I saw that movie. It was okay. I thought it was good, but that goes back to rewatchability. I just don't think I'd rewatch it again. But it was a fine movie. But no one's talking about it. 2 days after the movie came out, no one talked about it. It just, like, poof, disappeared. And the fact that they still want to make 4 more or 5 more of those movies, I don't know. I don't know if they're actually going to do that. I don't know if it's profitable enough. But anyway, so when I was watching Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I think that's the title. It's been so long. Anyway, there are these 2 shitbag teenage kids sitting at the end of the row. I sit in the handicap seats in the front of the theater. Hear me out for a second. Do I fake like I have a limp when I walk in? Yes, I do. No, I reserve these ahead of time, and I take the 2 handicap seats in the middle. There's like 5 more on each side, okay? I'm not a shitbag. I just can't sit beside anyone in the theater because there's no other seats beside the 2 handicap seats, okay? There's like gaps in the middle for like wheelchairs and what have you, okay? I highly recommend sitting there if no one needs the spot. Anyway, these 2 shitbags, first of all, were on their phones the entire movie. One of these dumb shits drops his phone in his chair. These are reclining chairs, okay? And he's searching for it. He's searching and searching. His stupid big troglodyte friend turns on his flashlight on his phone, looking for the other phone. And I'm just thinking, can you fucking just wait 37 minutes until the movie's over? Do you need your phones? Do you need them? What do you... Okay, so anyway, it gets worse. It gets worse. If you thought that was the end of it, no. The obnoxiousness increased by 7,000% from these, oh God. This is why I got to calm down in my old age. So how does this kid find his phone? How does this moron with 2 brain cells find his phone? Okay. He uses his Apple Watch and he pushes the button to ding his phone like 3,000 times. So there's this loud dinging sound going on for, I shit you not, 5 minutes throughout the movie. And everyone, you can just tell everyone's like, please just find your fucking phone. Just find it. Just find it. And eventually they do. And then they left the theater, and I don't know what they did. I don't know. They blew each other in the dumpster behind the movie theater. Or hopefully they got in their car and drove off a cliff on the way home. And they didn't die, but they are now quadriplegics from the neck down, and I hope they live the rest of their lives in a lot of agonizing pain, okay? I hope you're watching this too, you 2 pieces of shit. I hope you burn in hell for your sins against humanity. You disgust me. You're everything wrong with the cinematic experience. I blame you. There are cancer in society. Anyway, so yeah, that was my theater experience of Kingdom of Planet of the Apes. So Zach, next time you see me at the theater, man, you better come say hi. Let's go to the next Let's go to the next question. You got me worked up. I've been pent up for 3 months. I'm unleashing everything I had to say for 3 months right now, okay? All right, let's go to the next question. I might have to go turn the AC on in my house. It's getting a little muggy in here. The night was sultry. Okay. Let's take the glasses off. Movies for Life says, thoughts on Monkey Man, Planet of the Apes, Bike Riders, and Quiet Place. I personally was disappointed by all of these. So I just talked about Planet of the Apes. I've watched 7 minutes of Monkey Man. I have the Blu-ray actually back there. I lied to you. I blatantly lied to all of you. I'm sorry for that. I do have Monkey Man on 4K right here. This was sent to me. Now, I do kind of want to watch this because from everything I've gathered, this is sort of like the Indian version of a vigilante movie, for lack of a better term. And that's cool. I watched the first 10 minutes of this on streaming the other night. I just don't know if I don't know if I can get into it. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh. It just wasn't quite what I was hoping it would be. But if you enjoyed it, hey. We already talked about that. I have not seen Bike Riders yet. I do want to see it, but it kind of looks like a movie you would watch at home. And I know I just talked about all about going to the movie theater, but Bike Riders, I feel like I could watch it at home. Okay, here's the truth. It'll probably be on VOD in like 2 weeks. Let's all be honest. I do want to see it though. I do want to see Tom Hardy do his best Marlon Brando impression. So I'll get around to checking it out. Night King 01 says, John, now I get to ask my age-old question. Did you finally watch The Rust of Bounty, the Mel Gibson movie from the early 1980s that takes place in the 1800s? No, I have not. I haven't seen it yet, man. I haven't seen it. It's on my to-do list, I promise. Josh Coffey says, flicked pick, hate the new soup suit, man, shaking my head. Yeah, hey, let's save the hatred for the live action version, all right? Hey, at least we're getting a new Superman movie, and, you know, let's be happy with that. And at least it looks different. Okay? I'm not completely turned off on the suit. Do I think it looks like it's a little baggy, like it's like Superman pajamas that I would have worn when I was 5 years old and still occasionally do on a rainy night? Yeah, it kind of does. But I'm curious. I really doubt that 500 people who make decisions, especially James Gunn, who's a huge fan of Superman, would say, you know what? Let's just make this $250 million movie. Actually, I think it costs like $350 million or some obscene number. It's like one of the most expensive movies ever made. And let's just put him in a suit that's 5 times too big. I have a feeling they know what they're doing. But then again, who really knows? Okay, let's go to the next one. Carter Lovejoy says, what movies do you hope get announced for 4K Blu-ray releases? Do you plan on getting anything from the Criterion sales? John, I can't read. I'm sorry, guys. I never learned to read good. Do you plan on getting anything from the Criterion sale this month? Definitely get Dazed and Confused on 4K. Yeah, if I can get Dazed and Confused on Criterion for a good price, I'd probably buy it. Great Blu-ray. As far as any other plans, I don't know what else they're putting out on 4K with Criterion. I haven't looked it up in a long time. If there's something worth getting that I don't own, absolutely. Hey, Nightcrawler, 4K. Can someone make this happen, please? Will G says, will you review Shelby John, will you learn how to talk and get that cock out of your mouth so you can talk? John, will you review Shelby Oaks when it comes out? Yes, I will. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that outrage. If I offended you, well, I guess just unsubscribe because I'm going to continue doing so. Okay, the next one comes from Bruce Cook, who says, you mean you never learned to read well? And by the way, if you guys are YouTube members, chime in the chat right now. I'm looking for your messages and your comments. Type away. Okay. The next one comes from James Dozier, who says, I watched the Roadhouse remake a couple months ago. I didn't hate the movie, but I asked, why was this made and who was this made for? I'm not sure. The most logical answer I can give you is, it was made for an audience of children. They cater to the lowest common denominator. And listen, I'm not putting Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze on some kind of pedestal it doesn't deserve to be on. I know what that movie is. But the thing about that film was, you bought into the outrageousness that it was presenting to you. The new Roadhouse remake never sold me on anything. And it just felt so abrupt and generic. And once again, here's a generic bad guy for the sake of having a generic bad guy. And I hate movies that clearly look like they were shot in the southern part of Florida. I don't know what it is. It really bothers me. Like that club where Roadhouse took place at, where it looks like guys who go to like a golf course who live in $900,000 houses would go to this bar. This didn't look like some shady bar that bikers attend and sell heroin out of. This looked like a nice tiki bar on the side of like some tourist resort. I wasn't buying this shit needing that much security and this many fights happening. I just couldn't buy it for a second. Anyway, yeah, the new Roadhouse movie sucked. Okay, the next one comes from Farrell Lovely. How's it going? John, no question, just missed you. Hope all is well. Well, thank you for that. Nice seeing you as well. It's nice seeing a lot of familiar names tonight. You guys don't miss a live stream. That's crazy to me. I feel like I'm just some asshole on the internet who just vanished for months on end. He comes back and then you guys keep watching. And it's just like, shit. Okay, maybe I should do this more. So, once again, I know I've said it a lot tonight. I just got to say thank you. I really do. Thanks for watching me. Because really, if you guys didn't watch, I'm just some weird guy in his office screaming to a camera about movies. That's all I am. That's really who I am. Skylar Wheelock says, your wedding cake should be an edible and don't warn anybody, laugh out loud. Actually, I think a wedding couple did that years ago, and they got arrested and charged with felonies for like drugging their attendees, their guests. So probably not. You know, that should be a choice you decide to make. But I will say this: my wedding cupcakes, they're supposed to. The plan is they're supposed to look like little buckets of popcorn. Hell yeah, right? Maybe put some Sour Patch Kids in there. I don't know. Night King 01 says, John, I hope that you didn't answer this, but did you watch The Bike Riders yet? I did answer that. I have not seen it yet. If I get bored enough, maybe one of these nights, I might go check it out at the theater. But if that shit's coming to VOD in 2 weeks, I might just wait. Okay, I might wait. And there's some good movies coming out soon. What is it? Long Legs? I'm looking forward. Long Legs with Nicolas Cage, I think, is my next big anticipated movie. I'm trying to stay away from watching anything about it. I've seen like part of a trailer for it, and I squinted my eyes when I watched it. I want to go in fresh. John, you're still a weird guy though. ... Oh, absolutely. The White Skull says, what are your thoughts on the Human Centipede? I've only watched it once. It's just one of those gross out movies. Like if I want to watch somebody eat shit, there's places on the internet you can go to get that. Okay. Bruce Cook says, sorry about the question about Acolyte. I didn't realize it was off the table. No, Bruce, I wasn't actually offended by it. I just don't even want to talk about anything to do with Star Wars on Disney Plus because I don't want to be a broken record. I really don't. But just assume that my reaction and my thoughts are going to be the same. they just are. The next one comes from James Doshier, who says Conor McGregor should stay as an MMA fighter and not an actor. I think McGregor could have been one of the henchmen in the movie. I think that's fine. But the problem is he had to talk. And that was enough. John, no politics, but did you watch the debate last night? Absolutely. I saw the clips. I saw the clips on TikTok as I took a poop, okay? That's where I get my news. That's how I consume news these days. No, I quite enjoyed the debate. It's just the biggest question is, I don't even want to talk about if you pick left or right, up or down. I've always just been of the mindset, I will pick the person I feel will do the best job and has the most common sense and self-awareness. That's who gets my vote, okay? I don't care. I don't care what party they represent. It's all made up, right? You got to pick a side. Most of these guys running don't really believe in the shit that their parties do. You have to placate. You got to pick a side, and that's how the game works. But that debate, the fact that these are the two best choices that we have in 2024 in America with the advent of technology, these are the two best choices we have. Two 80-year-old men. They're both a bit crazy, to say the least. But this is it. These are the options. Is it me, or does it feel like we literally live in a meta comedy movie? We live in Idiocracy. We live in a real life comedy movie. If you wrote a movie like this 20 years ago and you said, no, this is based on a true, no one would believe you. Like, I can't comprehend what's happening right now. It's scary. It's bizarre. I feel like we're living in the Matrix. The Matrix basically had AI reading everyone and said, you know what? These people need some comedy. They need something outrageous. Let's make their political leaders who run their country clowns. They're comedic clowns. And it's so crazy to me. I love it. Like, I love it. I really do. I think it's highly entertaining. This is it, man. This is... Okay. Anyway, I did watch the debate. I thought it was comedy gold, to say the least. Anyway, okay. Like, yeah, if The Rock ran for president right now, he'd probably win. I think he would honestly win. Like, he would definitely get the TikTok vote, and he would probably win. If The Rock ran, it wouldn't matter which party he ran for. He'd probably have a better chance if he ran for like a Democrat or something. But I truly think if he ran for president, he would win. There you go. All right. And Bruce Cook, thanks for the agreement. I think we can all agree. Like, we live in upside down town right now. Skylar Wheelock says, outside of Fury Road and The Terminator, what are some good movies that are essentially one big chase sequence? I'll tell you a movie that is one big chase sequence from start to finish. It's a little movie directed by Mel Gibson called Apocalypto. That is essentially one big foot chase. And when I watch that movie, I physically get thirsty. I love that film. I think that's one of the most underrated films ever made. Apocalypto, if you have not seen it, and you want one big chase sequence, essentially, that's really fun and pulsating, and you run through the Aztec jungles, watch it, please. I think you'll quite enjoy it. I mean, the movie has human sacrifice. What more do you need? Daniel Green says, John, how excited are you for DP and Wolverine? Also, I'm so happy you're back. I could give you some Hawk-Ta and spit on that thing. Ooh, that's nasty, man. Hawk-Ta. Ugh, you even spelled it all out? Wow. I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited for the new Deadpool movie. If Hugh Jackman or Wolverine wasn't in this, I probably wouldn't be that excited. Am I on Letterboxd? No, I'm not. Okay, the next one comes from, and by the way, guys, I'm like 40 minutes behind on the super chats. I'm going to get to them. I promise you. Don't go anywhere. We're going to get to every single one of these super chats and many more. So just calm down. Everyone take a drink of that delicious cold beverage. And I'm going to answer one more question. I'm going to take like a 1 minute break, just a quick break. So if you guys got to go potty or refill your beverage or get some more popcorn, that'll be the time to do it. But let me answer just one more question because I need a cold beverage. I'm getting a little thirsty. All right. Yes, Caw says, hey, John, hope you're doing okay. Any new Blu-rays? Well, I got Monkey Man right here. I got the Ministry Ungently Warfare. I haven't watched this yet. I heard it's not very good. I have another copy of The Karate Kid. It has an all-new commentary and deleted scene dailies on it. But I already have the box set of the Karate Kid movies on 4K, but they sent me an extra copy of this. Maybe I can do a giveaway. Yeah, so a couple new Blu-rays. Okay, excuse me. Okay, let me answer one more question, then I'm going to take a quick break. Okay. Cuppa Joe Media says, as Red Dead Redemption HBO series would bring back the Western and it would die again, and then we can get the genre rest forever. What was the question here? A Red Dead... Oh, I see. Okay, sorry. I had a slight aneurysm in my brain as I read that. For some reason, I was thinking Last of Us for no reason. Yeah, so I don't know if this is happening. Is HBO making a Red Dead Redemption series? So first of all, I've never played the game, but here's a weird fact about me. I have probably watched through TikTok and YouTube like 75 hours of gameplay of Red Dead Redemption because this is going to sound weird. Watching it always helps me relax when I'm like going to bed or just trying to pass the time. Someone riding around on like a horse in a video game in the West, I find that highly relaxing. Anyway, yeah, I think if Max made a Red Dead Redemption series and treated it with the same kind of caliber they do with something like House of the Dragon, I think that would be phenomenal. And I think that would be a good comeback for the Western genre. I really do. Well, then you had the other, what was it, on Showtime or something? Or was it HBO? What was the, oh my God, my brain's melting out of my ear. The West show, oh please. Jonathan Nolan was the producer, where there's animatronic Western people. Why can I not remember what this is called? Anyway, I don't think that really brought back the Western genre as much as people were hoping, but maybe Red Dead Redemption would. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break, just like 1-2 minutes at the most. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Go refill your beverages. Westworld, that's it. Sorry. It's been a long year. I'll be right back. And as a wise man once said, hang on, I'll be back. And boom, we're back. It's YouTube magic, everyone. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep rolling with the punches. I was so thirsty, I just chugged a bottle of water. I ran to my fridge, chugged a bottle of water, and then grabbed another one, and I set my AC to 47 degrees. It's heating up in here right now. Okay. Jay Flick says, have you ever had an obsessed fan? You know, I have had a few. I've also accidentally come across a few, I won't say the genre of what it is, but I've come across a few forums of people who obsess over YouTubers, and it's really interesting, but I've come across some forums where people were talking about things they'd like to do, and that was quite intriguing. I showed my fiance, and she's like, I wouldn't even want to do that to you. I'm like, I know, right? But I was like, can you? And then I DM'd all the guys in the chat. No, I didn't. But no, I've had well, yes, I have had some weird fans, a little stalkerish a few times. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Nothing like the Fanatic, you know. No one wanted to cut my head off and have it roll in the street, so they got squished by a truck and Freddy Krueger was there. You know, nobody to that level. I did have someone that offered, they wanted me to send pictures flexing, and then send pictures of my feet. And don't get me wrong, I engaged with both of them. I was like, okay, flexing, what do you want? Double bicep? What do you want? Nipples out, baby oil? How much are we talking here? You can buy me $500. I'll send you some custom flex photos. But this was back in my heyday of working out. Feet pictures, cheap. I'll send you a foot picture for $25 a pop. You want all 10 tootsies in there? Deal. Done. So I'm not saying you can't buy me. That's not what I'm saying. But for the right price. No, I've had some weird fans. And a quick side note, So I no longer have Facebook, and I no longer have a Facebook fan page because Meta are incompetent. I fucking hate that company. I wish it would just disappear from the face of the planet. But anyway, all of my social media got hacked. My Twitter/X got hacked. My Facebook got hacked. And I was able to get everything back except for Facebook and not only my fan page where I had like 20,000 followers, and then my personal Facebook, because it was interconnected with my fan page, both got hacked and both got deleted, and I could not get them back. I've tried to do everything, but Meta sucks. They just are a terrible company. They basically set it up to the point where you can say your profile was hacked, and then they make you verify it by having a profile that you can't get to. It just makes no sense. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. But yeah, nothing too crazy as far as crazy stalkers go. I don't know. Maybe I'm not doing something right, but the next one comes from Bruce Cook, who says, "Oh my God, John Flickinger is alive on YouTube." Well, thank you, Bruce. I think I answered that earlier. Upshot Music TV says, "Glad to see you're not dead, John." I'm glad you're dead. Have you ever considered taking testosterone replacement therapy? If so, what age would you start? I have a creatine snorting habit. Hey, we've all been there. I've snorted aspirin before to get a better pump in the gym. Okay, I'm not proud of it, but it works. So, testosterone replacement therapy, would I take it? Yeah, probably one day. If your testosterone levels, and as you get older, they do in fact get lower and lower. They say it's like 1% every year the older you get. And if they do get to a point where they're depleted and way too low and I can't naturally keep them up, yeah, absolutely I would take testosterone, because testosterone for a man is the key to youth and life. It's what keeps you active. It's what keeps you moving. It's what keeps your muscle definition up, your energy levels, your sex drive. You need this shit. Okay? So yeah, if that stuff got depleted, absolutely I would take it. But I think I'm hoping at least 15 years away from such a thing. So I'm feeling pretty good and youthful these days, to be honest with you. I really am. I feel good. I feel the last like 3 months I felt pretty energetic. So yeah, I think I'm good on that level right now. I don't know. Maybe it's all the Bang energy drinks. I don't know. All right. Claudia Rogajon says, "More fantastical? Bro, it's a guy who flies, no shit." I know. I just meant a little more comic booky. That's all I meant. I meant the colors are way more vivid in the new Superman movie and not desaturated and gray. They're going to have a little more fun with it, a little more charm and whimsy, if you will. Maybe that's what I should have said. Charm and whimsy. How's that? Not fantastical might be the wrong term. Okay. Dustin Rich says, if you haven't seen episode 5 of X-Men 97 yet, you haven't seen Jack Flippity Squat, keep going. Funny enough, I think we did stop on episode 4. I think we did. So maybe tomorrow I'll watch that. I know you guys can't hear that right now, but that is the sound of raindrops hitting my house. Oh, I feel cozy. Ooh, I like that. Let me tell you something about me. There's nothing I enjoy more than a rainy day in the summertime. The smell of that moistness hitting the hot pavement outside. You can smell the asphalt. You can hear the raindrops. You just want to come inside and watch a nice movie with some frozen pizza. Oh, God. Anyway, okay. It soothes me. It makes me feel safe. It washes all the scum away. All right. Skylar Wheelock says, something that always... I can't read them with the glasses on. Something that always stuck out to me about No Country for Old Men was there's no soundtrack, just total silence. And the ambient sounds of the landscape makes the movie so much more tense and palpable. You're right. I agree. It's No Country for Old Men is the perfect cat and mouse movie. It really is. I love it. Javier Bardem is a sociopath with a air prod cattle killer. Yes, please. Give me a prequel to that guy. You want to give me a prequel movie, Hollywood? You want some grittiness to it? You want a real movie that probably doesn't cost $50 million? Make a prequel with Make a prequel with Javier Bardem's character from No Country for Old Men. Let me see him go on another mission to kill a whole bunch of motherfuckers. I'd watch that any day of the week. There you go. There's $1 million idea. MC Pauly says, John, remember the motivational speech you gave me a couple nights before my boxing match in February? Well, I won my second round TKO, and thanks to you. Well, I will take credit for that. It wasn't your training. It wasn't your trainers. It wasn't your dedication, your motivation. It was my quick speech that I did during a live stream on YouTube. So you're welcome. No, but good job. Good job.
Knock his block off. Get up, you son of a bitch, because Mickey loves ya.
Oh, God. I want to go watch Rocky now. And I know you do, too. Bruce Cook says, John, have you seen or commented yet on Acolyte? Yes! I've talked about Star Wars, generally speaking. I will never watch Acolyte. I will never watch it. And I will never give you any substance on it because I don't know anything about it other than watching the trailer. And other than knowing what some other people think about it. I just don't want to watch it. I can't. I don't have the time in my life to watch Disney Plus Star Wars series anymore. I don't want to be disappointed. I just don't want it. That's like asking someone to slap you in the face with a leather strap. Why would you want that? You sadomasochist? Joey Ruiz, Lord of the Rings, says, Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. What's your thoughts? The new Beverly Hills Cop movie, is that what we're talking about, or the original? Because I thought they were making a new one. I like the original. I even like I think it's the third installment, where he goes to an amusement park and his really flamboyant friend works there. And I remember in the third movie, there's this giant prototype gun that he steals for the end of the movie. And this gun has a rocket launcher, a machine gun. It has a speaker. It has a microwave built into it. I just remember this bombastic, stupid gun in that movie. Does anyone know what I'm talking about right now? GF Hostman, you don't have to spam the chat. Just, if you really have a question you need me to answer, make it a super chat and I'll get to it. Or I can get to one of your 8,923 questions that you just put in the chat at some point. Do you drink Diet Sprite? No, it's called Sprite Zero. But yes, I do. Upshot Music TV, Upshot Music TV says, I'm going to Alpha Land next month to shoot fitness content / music video. If you're interested in joining, I'll DM you with more info on Instagram. That sounds cool, man. That's in Houston, Texas, and I live in Indiana. So if you want to DM me with what you're thinking, let me know. I'm curious, but to make the trip out there might be sort of a hassle. I don't know. But Alpha Land looks like a really cool gym. I do watch Christian Guzman on YouTube, and I have seen the gym. It looks like a cool place. But just to keep it real with you, I go to Planet Fitness, and I've probably been there once in the last month, because lately what I do to get a good workout, because as I near middle age, I quite enjoy doing yard work, and I look forward to it, which is really bizarre and baffling to say, because as a kid I hated doing yard work, but the older I get, I find it, I don't know, almost therapeutic in a way. And I built a fire pit in my backyard, a huge fire pit with stones and pavers and chairs, and it's cool and relaxing, you know. So I don't know how I started talking about building a fire pit in my backyard, but yeah, I don't really go to the gym as often as I should anymore. But I like that. I think I still got it. There's a little, hang on. Let's get it. A little something there. Boop. And it's gone. Okay. See, that would have costed $10 on my OnlyFans. I give that to you for free. Elliot Cecil says, just watch Mulholland Drive. I can't stop thinking about it now. I've seen it once. I know people love that film. I enjoyed it, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I was expecting something bizarre and weird and a twist. I kind of got what I was expecting, but maybe I should go back and rewatch it with new eyes. It's been a decade since I've seen it, so. Josh Coffey says, thoughts on Exorcist Believer trilogy scrapped. I watched whatever. Okay, so I know there was like the new Exorcist movie. I didn't have a good vibe about it. I just knew it was not gonna be worth making a new trilogy out of. I feel like if you want the Exorcist movie, just go watch the fucking Exorcist movie. And then I feel like we get a new exorcism movie every like 3 days from Hollywood. You had the Exorcist movie with Russell Crowe, and like I got 22 minutes into that, and I was like, I just don't care. I can't do this anymore. It's just the same thing. So, to be honest with you, I don't really care. Elliot Cecil says, also, are you excited for the Penguin series? I'll check it out. Am I dying to see it? I don't know about that, but I definitely do want to check it out. Paradise here with a very generous super chat. Thank you for making my night. I've missed your magicals and mysticals. I've never heard anyone put it like that, but thank you. Just thank you, man. I too understand why you had to take a break. What's an underrated flick pick? Dig deep. Love ya. Well, I love you too. Well, I did give you Apocalypto earlier, but another underrated movie. Oh gosh, where do I dig deep into my recesses to try to find something here? Let me be topical. You know what? I'm going to be topical. An underrated movie, in my opinion, and you don't have to agree with this, it's okay. We can still be friends, is The Patriot starring Mel Gibson. And I say it's topical because it's a Revolutionary War movie, and hey, we're on the cusp of 4th of July. Let freedom ring, or let's buy overpriced fireworks and blow that shit up so they land on people's cars. But The Patriot is a phenomenal film that does not get the recognition that it deserves. And if you've never seen it, cannot recommend it enough. If for the fact you want to see a really good movie with Heath Ledger with a great supporting role and Mel Gibson killing motherfuckers with a tomahawk, okay? You'll love it, I promise. Is it historically accurate? Not really. But it's entertaining. So The Patriot. Okay. Daniel Martin says, John, can you react to Glenn Powell's scene in The Dark Knight Rises, Trader number 1? This is a stock exchange. There's no money to steal. Really? Why are you here? And he pushes him into the fucking desk or something. I remember that scene, yes. And thank you for the super chat, Daniel. Let's go mobile. and then fucking he's on the back of the motorcycle like this, and they're driving around. Oh God, I love it. Okay. Thank you for that memory. I forgot that existed. Brevins Flicks and Games says, rewatching Lord of the Rings reminded me why I love movies. That might be my next passion project series later this year. #1 trilogy to rule them all. Damn good experience. I would be lying. Ooh, sorry. If I didn't punch my microphone. I like Lord of the Rings. I respect them. I quite enjoyed the experience of watching them, but I'm not by any means a diehard Lord of the Rings fan, if that makes any sense. And back to the question about will I watch the Penguin series? I'm gonna watch it, but damn it, wouldn't it just be better if Batman was in it? That's all I'm saying. You know, for a long time, I thought I liked Return of the King the most, but I think Fellowship is honestly the best. I really do. Just take me to the Shire. Take me to my happy place. Claudia Rojan says, just wanted to elaborate on my last question. Bad Boys 2, to this day, I still can't tell if it's great or terrible. No, it's terrible. The part where they're driving down a hillside in a yellow Humvee, just driving through these poor people's shacks because we have to chase the bad guy because he's selling drugs. Oh no, he's selling drugs. That's what they do. And they're just murdering 700 people to catch him. I hated Bad Boys 2. And then you have like a Dan Marino cameo scene. Ugh. Anyway, I thought that was one of the worst Michael Bay movies of all time. I really do. Even when I watched that in theaters back in like, what was that? 02, 03, 04, somewhere in there. Even at the time, I just thought this was bombastic garbage. Kyle says, John, is it possible to watch Stand By Me without shedding a little man tear? You know what, man? I don't think it is, and I'll keep it real with you. You watch that movie as a kid, and you kind of get the dynamic, the coming-of-age story, and you relate to those kids. But then you watch it as an adult, and oh my God, the nostalgia of becoming older and reminiscing about your past, and that line that you never have friends like the ones you have when you're 12, damn, does anyone, just hits you in the feels. That movie, the older you get, the more sad Stand By Me becomes. And yeah, I love it, man. Top 20 movie of all time, definitely. Okay. The next one comes from David, who says, John, have you ever seen The Guest from 2014 with Dan Stevens? It's truly phenomenal. Awesome soundtrack. Visually great. And Stevens is fantastic. Yes, I have. I have seen The Guest. It was kind of a weird time because, like, I couldn't help but make the comparison to the movie Drive that had a very synthwave vibe with a slimmer guy who's blonde and sort of a badass. There were similarities there. Like it felt like the Guest was like the second cousin of the character from Drive played by Ryan Gosling or something. I've only seen it once. I did like it, but I saw it like on I think Blu-ray or something when it came out. I think I rented that shit from the Redbox. Remember that? Doesn't that feel like it was 100 years ago? Going to a digital vending machine to rent a movie? like if I told my kids about that, they'd be like, what? Was that like, when was that? 1802? What do you mean a vending machine? You mean the place that you buy drinks out of that no one actually ever buys drinks out of because you just go into the gas station and buy it? It's crazy. David, is this another David or the same David? Either way, what are the odds? Hey, John, let me know if I'm prying, but what happened between you and Chris Stuckman? We just grew apart, you know, nothing crazy. I mean, I could probably give you some grit, you know, but nothing crazy. Nothing really happened. I just think we grew apart. And then he wanted to go a direction in life and got hyper focus and some tunnel vision, and just like a moth to the flame kept going and going. For better or for worse, he kept going. And so, you know, it's fine. I think sometimes in life, you might grow out of friends, or sometimes you get to a point where you evaluate the people you're friends with and you go, well, I tried, but is it worth trying? Or is it worth continuing to try? And you really have to ask yourself that question. So yeah, you know, if I called him, he'd probably pick up his phone right now, but yeah, I don't think I would. I just have no real reason. So yeah, nothing crazy happened. You know, we didn't get in I wish I could say we got in a fist fight on the edge of a cliff during a lightning storm, and but we didn't. So we just grew apart. Just, you know, it's like the movie Stand By Me we just referenced. Sometimes in life, you just go separate directions. And if this were a movie, you would see me watching him walk into the distance as he fades away, and I give a narration. And what would that narration be? Let's just go to the next question. I had a fucking phenomenal joke to say right there, but I'm going to be a nice guy. Okay. Cletty Rogajon says, have you watched The Beekeeper yet? I have not. I have not watched The Beekeeper yet. I have not. Maybe one day when I get really bored and I run out of every single movie that I want to watch, I will watch The Beekeeper. A mildly entertaining John Wick knockoff action movie starring Jason Statham, because that'll probably add a lot of value to my life. I haven't seen it yet, man. Okay. Skylar Wheelock says, you might think you're an asshole, John. What? I don't think that at all. What are you talking about? Me, an asshole? What are you talking about? You know what it is? I think in life, people get confused. Some people are considered assholes that really, they're just really honest, blunt people. And I don't know about you, but I value honesty over any attribute there is. So yeah, I'm an asshole. Absolutely. If being an asshole means I'm honest and blunt, so be it. But let's keep going. I'm your asshole. I don't know how I feel about that. Take care of me. I'll treat you right. Here we go. But you even said it. But you're our asshole and we love you. Well, thank you. I want you to know all 313 of you share one asshole. Okay. When we start getting to that, it's getting late in the live show. I just want you to succeed because you're one of a kind. Well, thanks for that, man. Thank you. Those words of encouragement do mean a lot. All right, the next one comes from Ethan H. White, who says, don't leave us like that, John. Missed you, buddy. Highly recommend Opening Night by John Cassavetes on, did I say that right? On HBO Max. It's an utter fucking masterpiece. Opening Night? Opening Night. HBO. Opening Night. What is that? Okay. I'll look into this. I don't know anything about it. I have a question for you guys. Have you guys watched the new Jake Gyllenhaal series? I think it's on like episode 2 or 3. It's called like I think it's called Presumed Innocence or something like that. It's on Apple TV, I believe. Has anyone watched that series? And is it worth watching? I'm hoping it's worth watching. John, do you have a favorite movie poster? A few of my favorite movie posters, and they are hanging up in my theater room. I love the Back to the Future poster. I love the Jaws poster. I think Jaws is maybe the best poster of all time. I have the original Star Wars poster in there. I have the T2 signed poster over here. It's signed by everyone except for Arnold, but I have the T2 poster over there. But those are a few posters I quite enjoy. You know, the worst thing in life is when there's a movie that you love, but the poster doesn't live up to how good the movie is. There's like plenty of movies I love, and I wish their posters were a bit better. Another poster I love is the poster to the Warriors. Oh, I love that. Any kind of poster or one sheet that's illustrated with actual artwork, always my preference. John, do you still go to the theaters a lot? Absolutely, every week. Scroll back and watch the beginning of the live stream. I talk all about the movie theater experience and the ups and downs for about 20 minutes. Kyle says, John, why did Tiny Todd have to die? We miss him dearly. You know, Tiny Todd was the symbolism of my youth. And as I grew up and expanded on YouTube, I had to bury the skeletons in the closet, if you know what I mean. And by closet, I mean the $5 Blu-ray bin at Walmart. Landon Lee says, you're back. What's up? What have you been up to? I've talked about that for the last 2 hours, man. Just scroll back and check it out. But just working, living a nice, simple, mundane life with the simple pleasures every week to keep me going and sane. Also, I wanted to confess something to you guys. I wanted to confess that I don't really eat Sour Patch Kids anymore. I know, I could hear the gasps. I eat Swedish Fish now. I'll tell you why. I just think they taste better. I really do. The graininess of Sour Patch Kids kind of felt like sand on my teeth and was eating away at my enamel. And the older I get, the more I realize I'm not immortal. And I know this vessel that I live in, this pod that my brain and my central nervous system is inside. Sorry, my nose itches. I know that this thing isn't gonna last forever. And when you get to a certain age in life, you're gonna realize that as well, that you don't live forever. This shit breaks down. And just grinding away at my teeth with that sandy, gooey substance of Sour Patch Kids, every once in a while, I don't mind them. But yeah, I eat a lot of Swedish Fish. I love them. I don't know why I didn't try them for 20 years. So delicious. I know I'm not the same guy I used to be. Some things have changed, but other things have stayed the same. Okay? Plus, fuck Sour Patch Kids. They never gave me a sponsorship. They never respected me. So, I'm done with them. All right. The next one comes from Night King 01, who says, John, have you seen The Boys season 4 yet? I have not. I don't think I watched all of Boys season 3. I sort of fell out of love with the show in season 2. Yeah, you saw the wheels coming off in season 2. Yeah, I think we all did. Yeah, I'm not really into it as much as I once was. Like, the first season's great. Everything after that sort of just kind of fell off. Asher56 says, has Claudio Rogajon asked 1,000 questions yet? He's only asked about 3 questions, but I appreciate the questions. Funny fucking story. Right between Asher's comment, you have a Night King 01 question, and right after it, I have another Night King 01 question. You just got sandwiched. You're the meat in the sandwich. Oh, I love it. All right. Here we go. Here's another question from Night King 01. Don't you ever change, Night King 01. Don't you ever change. John, about Roadhouse. Jake Gyllenhaal in that film is nothing. Did you notice he works best when he's playing creeps or crazy people? Screw the fan casting for Batman. Make him Victor Zsasz or something. Yeah, I don't think Gyllenhaal would be that great of a Batman. I really don't. I think he'd be kind of a bland Batman / Bruce Wayne. I genuinely do. And I concur with your sentiments. Yeah, he's much more interesting when he's like a heavily flawed, creepy dude. You're right. He truly needs to play like a character role. So yeah, he was sort of nothing in Roadhouse. He was just a guy. Here's Guy. Matthew Castellona says favorite Tom Cruise role. Mine is Les Grossman in Tropic Thunder and his iconic in the credits dance. Also rewatched that movie, and he's hilarious. Favorite Tom Cruise performance. I will say one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies of all time. And every time I'm feeling a little bit down and I just want something fun and pure, I have rewatched Top Gun Maverick over the last year, probably 5 times. I just like watching it. I really do. Like the actual practicality, the fighter jets, and the scene where Tom Cruise is showing the rookies how to do that mission for the first time, and he's in the cockpit going, I'm like, fuck yeah, Tom Cruise is the motherfucking man. So in recent years, I'd go with Top Gun Maverick. All-time favorite Tom Cruise movie? Oh, I don't know. I liked him in Risky Business, but that's before Tom Cruise became a crazy person. I like Minority Report, but if you had to say Tom Cruise role / performance, I quite enjoyed Tom Cruise in the movie Born on the 4th of July. Actually, I like gritty movies. I like movies set in the 1960s, 1970s. It's about a Vietnam veteran who loses his legs and deals with coming to terms with it. It's good stuff. If you want like a real movie, check it out. Maybe you and the family can get together on 4th of July and watch it. Love it or leave it, Tommy. Love it or leave it. Okay, the next one comes from Joey Ruiz, Lord of the Rings. Can you do some Arnold voice jingle all the way? Okay, here's my Arnold impression from Jingle All the Way and scene. I'm not a pervert. I just wanted a Turbo Man doll. There you go. I still need that as a t-shirt. Maybe a bumper sticker. Okay, the next one comes from Night King 01. John, speaking of Drive, speaking of Drive 4 hours ago, did you ever get around to watching The Driver 1978? I did not. I did not get around to watching it. I did watch a scene of it on YouTube because of you, but I did not watch the movie, man. Gilliam LaBelle says, welcome back. Thoughts on The Accountant 2016? Hey, I have a review for that movie. Go check it out on YouTube. I liked it. I really did. I think they're making a sequel. I would check it out. But I thought The Accountant was an interesting movie. Now, does it kind of fall apart when you find out that there's like some girl sitting in a cabin on her computer acting as his like Alfred, setting up contracts for him and people to kill? I thought that was a little bit weird and hard to a big hard pill to swallow, but I quite enjoyed watching Ben Affleck beat himself in the shins with bamboo sticks, listening to techno and metal music with a strobe light because he has so much sensory overload and he's slightly autistic. Yes, I did quite enjoy that. Yes. The next question comes from Gilliam LaBelle, who says, welcome back. Oh, I already answered that. Asher56 says, let's be real. Shelby Oaks gonna be musty butt juice. Okay, you want to talk about Shelby Oaks? I'm really anticipating seeing that film. I really, truly am. Listen, I hope, and I mean this, I really do mean this. I hope Chris was able to make the version of that movie, or at least as close as he could, that he wanted. I really hope his vision was captured and will be presented up on the big screen. I hope it is. And I want to see that vision up on the big screen. I really do. And I think only then can I look at it and judge it. And I will talk about it. I have to talk about it. I mean, this is a movie. This is made by a guy that used to sleep on my couch. I've slept on his couch. I've been to his parents' house and slept on the floor. I know a lot about the person who made this movie, and I think that's really interesting. So I hope it blows me away. I hope this is like something so unexpected. I'm like, you did it, man. You fucking did it. So, but once I see the movie, I will give you my honest opinion. I won't fluff it. I will be honest. I will be critical as I possibly can. And so I'm looking forward to it, but I'm waiting for a trailer. And, and from Chris's perspective, and I'm just a guy who makes YouTube videos. I've never made a feature-length film. I can only imagine the massive amounts of pressure on him, for this to be good. This is kind of like, this can kind of make or break your career in a certain sense. And you have to, there's a lot of people that backed this film. You kind of have to appease them to some degree, and hopefully it's good. But I've heard he's having a lot of success. And so I guess we'll just have to wait and see, like everyone else. But I will talk about the movie. Good or bad, I'll definitely talk about Shelby Oaks after I see it. Kyle says, he called the shit poop. Chlorophyll, more like borophyll. The next question comes from Claudia Rogajon, who says, someone utters, Chris, I see your soul die a bit. If you want me to answer a question, be specific. Or else I sound like a bitter asshole talking shit. Be specific if you have a question. That's all I ask. Daniel Martin says, next thing you'll tell us that you no longer drink your beverage with 3 ice cubes. No more, no less. I hate change. Why, John, why? Listen, I'm like 80% the same. Some things have actually gotten better, like a fine wine. With age, it just tastes better when you drink it. Do I want all of you to drink me? Maybe. I don't know how we could arrange that. It sounds slightly illegal. But anyway, just little tweaks and changes have been made. But the core is still the same. Okay. But 3 ice cubes, no more, no less. No, that shit's never changing. Come on now. Jingle Boobs McSugar Teats says, that's a real name. What are your thoughts on the Terrifier movies? I've never really watched them. I've just never watched them. I'm sorry. I've heard the new one was terrible, but I never got into them. I like horror films, but not that overall genre. That doesn't make me go out of my way to watch it. Now, would I watch them maybe around Halloween time when I'm in the mood for slasher movies? Yeah, I'm sure, but not the type of movies I go out of my way for. Clark Ingleton says, hey, Jono, what's your favorite Lego sub-brand? Star Wars, Creator Lego, Architecture, etc. Lego is a great gift for your partner / build together. Truth is, I've never had the patience to build Legos. I just never have. And if I do have a large amount of Legos, I want to build something unique and original and not rebuild the blueprints of something. That sounds like a tedious chore. That sounds like putting together furniture to me. Now, with all that said, I did used to watch Lego Masters religiously with Will Arnett. Welcome to Lego Masters. I did watch that. The last season kind of sucked. It felt like they got like the B squad of builders to come on the show. Or maybe it was the season before that. But yeah, I've just never been a big Lego guy. You know? I don't know. Night King of One says, did that scene from The Driver intrigue you? Yeah, it did. I'll get around to watching the movie. It just, I have like a to-do list, and I'm going to have to get there. It's going to have to be a cold, rainy night to get to it. I still haven't watched The Bounty, man. Come on, you know that. John, help me. I need attention. Well, you got it. Michael Witherspoon says, I'm going on a flight home tomorrow. Any tips? Get sedated, maybe drink some Jack and Cokes on the plane, and listen to a good podcast or something. Download a few of those and just sleep. I fall asleep on airplanes. I don't know if it's the oxygen or maybe I take a lot of Benadryl before I get on them, but my goal on a plane is to fucking sleep. Just, I want to be unconscious. Wake me up when we get there. Bruce Cook says, a fine wine with age can also turn into vinegar. Well, vinegar is also useful too. It cleans mold. Gilliam LaBelle says Collateral. Ooh, I did forget about Collateral for Tom Cruise movies. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. You are absolutely right. I believe Collateral is probably Tom Cruise's best performance because he's not playing typical Tom Cruise. I like when Tom Cruise plays a villain. He doesn't do it enough. Even though in real life, I think he's a sociopath who sacrifices unborn fetuses and drinks the blood to live forever. But that's just me. But I like the guy in Top Gun Maverick. That's all I'm saying. All right, if you guys are members or you guys just want to chime in on the normal chat, I'll hang out here for a couple more minutes. Like, how about a few more questions? Get them in for the next 1 minute. Submit your questions, and I will answer all of those glorious, beautiful questions. Landon Lee says, what movie do you recommend for an 80s vibe? Oh my God. Well, do you just want to watch an 80s movie or do you want to watch a modern day movie with an 80s vibe? Which one is it? Because the Holdovers kind of has what I would consider what feels like an early 80s movie, which also coincidentally takes place in the early 80s, but it also feels like an early 80s movie that doesn't feel like a parody of the 80s. Like no one's wearing like a piano necktie in the movie, you know, it just feels like how people really would be. So maybe that, but if you want like hardcore 80s, specify your question a little bit for me, but go watch Just One of the Guys from the 1980s. That's a good 1980s movie no one talks about. James Nichols says, John. It also stars Billy Zabka as the bully in the movie. Talk about being typecasted. John, what's your favorite scene from Furiosa? Mine was the Bullet Farm ambush. Also disappointing. We probably will never get another Mad Max movie. I think it is disappointing. I think Mad Max almost could work as like a Max series. Maybe they could do something like that one day. But it's really unfortunate people didn't go to see that movie. It pisses me off because I would love another installment. I liked the Bullet Farm scene quite a bit. There's a few scenes with like Chris Hemsworth's character I quite enjoyed. Oh, I liked the scene in the, it was towards the opening of the movie where Furiosa's mother was trying to chase after her daughter who had been kidnapped, and just everything she was going through to keep tracking her down and how desperate she was with going from like one motorcycle to the other, attaching a tire on it and taking the gasoline. And then I thought that was kind of a cool chase sequence in a sense. I like the way it was done, actually. You could almost like feel the suspense. I was like, I hope she catches him. But yeah, that was another scene. But I do want to rewatch it again. I'm just like, I'm going to watch it again as soon as it hits 4K. So. Murph says, I was just rewatching the video of you spying on the girls at the park from behind a bush. I did that. Yes, I did that. I did that. Let's continue. Do you still hide in the local shrubbery? No, I do not. But it was for the sake of comedy, okay? I'm not a pervert. I just wanted to make a YouTube video, all right? All right, let's answer some more questions here. Night King 01 back again. Thinking about watching Blood Diamond again. Yes, Blood Diamond is another truly underrated film. I love it. It's a great sort of adventure movie through Africa about tracking down a blood diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio playing a mercenary. Phenomenal movie. I probably have seen it 20 times in my life. And so if you've never seen Blood Diamond, that's a great underrated movie. Have you seen Twister? Absolutely I have. Do cows fly? The Last Samurai, I liked the first half of it. By the second half, I kind of fall out of love with it. I know it's a weird opinion. All right, let me answer just a few more questions, and then I think I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. We've been talking for 2.5 hours, and I'm getting tired in my old age. I'm not what I once was, I know, but I've been up all day. It's 12:30. It's time for me to take a hot shower, put my PJs on, and lay in bed on my heating pad and watch some kind of movie to put me to sleep. Let's see. Oh, Daniel Martin. Here we go. Can you envision Hollywood making a prequel to Over the Top, and who plays Lincoln Hawk? Sly Stallone? The world meets nobody halfway. You could never make a prequel. Well, actually, you know what? That would actually make the most sense. Because if you were to make an over-the-top prequel, the only time period that you could even justify this being in would be like the early 1980s or 1970s with a young Lincoln Hawk. But no one can play Stallone other than Stallone. Yeah, it's about being the best. It's about doing your best. You know, no one can fucking top that. So you would have to almost go into the sequel territory. And then you could maybe have Mike, who was the kid, grow up and he could be an arm wrestler. And I'm sure you could cast somebody like, just for lack of a better person, like Jake Gyllenhaal, for example. You know, if he's going to be in some generic, shitty, modern-day movie based on an 80s movie like Roadhouse, I'm sure he would be in a modern-day, shitty version of a new take of Over the Top. Okay? So anyway, and plus, modern day arm wrestling, you could include some of that or the slap contest that they have. I don't know. I think it could be a good script. I don't think it would be a good script, but that would be a movie I would like to write. I think I could make a really good modern day over the top movie if somebody wanted to back that for like $20 million. That's all I'm saying. It takes place in space. Okay. The Movie Nader says, "What's up, John? Have you seen X and Pearl? If so, what are your thoughts?" So I have seen X. I know there's a whole trilogy they want to make with those films or the actress. I have not seen Pearl. I know there's another movie coming out. I thought X was crazy and weird. And don't get me wrong, I like watching old people fuck. I know. Did I just say that? No. What I meant to say was I like crazy things in film. And the fact that they went with it and didn't hold anything back, I appreciate that. Okay? Okay. That's the better way to put it. That's the better way to say that. But I would never watch that movie again. Anyway. And speaking of X, somebody just asked about X-Men 97 again. I'm going to finish it. I've watched the first few episodes. I'll finish it. Cloudy Rojan, back again. On one more happy note, do you think you're going to have many Flickingers running around anytime soon? You as a dad would be interesting to watch. I think that would give a whole new life to another YouTube channel to some degree. I really do. Because I think it would be really cool to have a kid. Now, I might have to, Unfortunately, I'm going to have to wait like 5 years to get to this point. But I think it'd be really cool to sit down with them and show them movies for the first time and like record a little reaction after the movie. Like try to have a little review with them. And hopefully my kids like movies. If they don't, I'll just put them up for adoption or something. But the unfortunate thing is you just have to wait so long to get to that point where their cognitive function is up to par. But maybe at a young age I can show them movies like Silence of the Lambs or something. I don't know. They'll be fine. But in all seriousness, you could review Pixar movies like Toy Story. And really give it like a couple years, maybe the kid thing will happen. But speaking of kids, I really believe in this. I believe at an early age, for my children to develop quality taste, I have to inundate them with quality cinema. Now, it'll all be age appropriate, absolutely, but I'm going to have a filmography that's very strict, and these are the movies that they have to watch. Whatever modern day junk Hollywood's crapping out by that point, they're not going to watch that. No. They're going to grow up in quality films like Terminator 2 Judgment Day, some Toy Story, Sword in the Stone. I want to show them quality cinema. That way they grow up to appreciate what good movies are. So anyway, okay. Off topic. Let's keep going. Kevy Rez says, are you looking forward to Money in the Bank? Listen, I've told you guys this once. I'm a hardcore WWE fan. I've almost considered making a YouTube channel dedicated to talking about wrestling, rumors, news, and doing reviews of the premium live events. That's how into wrestling I am. I listen to probably like 9 different wrestling podcasts. 90% of the shit I consume on YouTube is wrestling related. That's how into it I am. I love the behind the scenes and the production and the stories that go into it. But with all that said, I'm absolutely looking forward to Money in the Bank. I live to watch WWE premium live events every weekend. I really do. You want to talk about immersing yourself into something and just letting go and accepting what it's going to give you content-wise? That's wrestling. It is so pure and unadulterated, it takes me back to my happy place of being a child. So anyway, yes, I'm definitely going to watch it. Bruce Cook says, yes, YouTube channel with you and your kids. Call it Father Knows Best. Or, Father Knows Worst. I have another name for it, but I want to get it copyrighted or at least create the channel before I give it out. But I do have a good name for it. Okay, let's answer a few more questions, but you guys are killing it. But let me answer just a few more questions. So I'm going to politely ask, or I'm just going to scream it after I grab you by the ears and shake you. No more questions as of right now. Don't ask anything else. No, because I don't want to miss your questions. I don't want to leave you hanging, okay? Don't make me feel like a villain, okay? All right. Rebel Scum says John Campion impression. And for our next main topic, no, take this with a grain of salt, okay? But for the next question, Claudio Rogajon, back with a very generous super chat. And Claudio, I fucking love you, man. I fucking love you. Okay. I forgot to mention this earlier, but I found out the new Roadhouse, all of the fights were 2 people composited into a scene together with CGI punches. I knew something about the fights looked off. Well, absolutely it looked off. It looked like they were made out of rubber as the camera panned all weird and cockeyed. And it was way too fluidy looking. But that completely makes sense. The whole movie felt off, let's be honest. It felt like a movie made for Amazon Prime. Bruce Cook says, so will you show them Bye-Bye Man? I'll show them bad movies at some point to show them what modern day cinema is and how to avoid it like it's the plague. GFE Hostman says, John, you made a career on YouTube. You are an inspiration that the thing you do makes a living that you love. I did indeed. You know, if for anything else, I am very, very appreciative of doing YouTube for 13 years, and I'm still doing it, technically speaking. Look at me. And I made a living doing it, you know, and I have really the only complaints I have about YouTube are maybe I should have just made more videos. But it's really cool. It really is. And I think back on it, I think how lucky I was. And there was a lot of luck involved, a little bit of talent, but mostly a lot of luck. And that's really everyone's YouTube career for the most part. But, who knows? Maybe the Renaissance era is coming. Maybe now is the time to come back, because I definitely look at the playing field on YouTube, and I think there's room for a guy like me, because everyone just feels like they're tiptoeing. Everyone feels like they're on cruise control. There's some people out there busting their ass, but I just feel like personality-wise, I don't think there's a lot of competition. Good or bad. I'm not saying I'm a funny, witty guy or anything, or I'm the most knowledgeable person. But damn it, I'll be honest, and I'll say a few quippy one-liners every once in a while. But either way, I want to come back. I want to keep making YouTube videos. But we will definitely do more live shows. I am sorry I neglected you for 3 months. I just needed a mental break. I really did. So nevertheless, thank you guys for coming back tonight. And not forgetting about me, and not just casting me off to the open sea to be forgotten. Thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And I do mean it. Thank you so fucking much. You guys are too good to me. You're too good to me. So I don't know how to end this live stream. I think I'm just going to leave it with this. Thanks for watching. Give a video a like or a thumbs up, or don't. And but make sure you subscribe. That way I can see you guys next time. Stay safe. Have a good night. And maybe even have a better tomorrow. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.